won't run away. Maybe send me an angel. The nicest angel you have.
Hello there, I'm Darren.
And I'm Dougie.
And it's Tuesdays, you know what that means. Mando episode. And what an episode! Holy crap. The entire way through we've known that this was coming, but just the way it was delivered, it all looked great. And the start is, we now realise that Mando gets as much of a kick out of saying Grogu and seeing his response as much as we do.
Grogu?
That was just adorable. It's like whenever you make a squeaky noise and you see your dog doing that head tilt thing. So everyone I've spoken to this week has said, right, something's going to interrupt them. They're going to get in the way. And I was like, nope, what's going to happen is they're going to go straight there. And then I was sort of doubting myself. I was like, maybe not. Maybe something like, I don't know, the Razor Crest needs a tire change or something. But no, boom, straight in, no kissing again. So this whole series is just kind of like dishing it up. No kind of crap. It's just kind of...
It's been all main course. It's just like, here, you finished, here's another one.
Keep that steak coming. Get on a steak with a side of steak.
Yep.
So we arrive at Tython, which is awesome. We got that kind of nice, humble kind of experience that we kind of get in episode 8 and on Act 2. They get to this sacred site of the Jedi and it is small. It's so small, in fact, that they can't land on it.
That would be my home.
Oh, and it is lovely, just beautiful. You know, you are quite a decorator. It's amazing what you've done with such a modest budget. I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
So we get to the platform and Mando places Baby Yoda. And then the butterflies was such a lovely reference. So this for me goes to the Vader comic. Whenever Vader is trying to meditate the way he would usually, you know, as a Jedi, but he can't do it. And in his meditative state, these blue butterflies are the reflection of the light side. And it was just a nice little callback, I think, to that Force vision. And then boom, the Slave One comes out. I was like, oh my goodness. That was one thing about this series. I remember whenever we were watching it today, I was like, every ship looks amazing. And you were saying about how essentially everything's like models.
Yeah, so at least they did it for the first season, because I remember seeing like a behind the scenes clip about it. But the Razor Crest and all the ships, they used physical models, and they used similar techniques to what they did for A New Hope. Like they took inspiration from that, and they had physical models of these ships flying through space, and they recorded all that, and that's how they did the visual effects of like flying through space or flying the ships about the place. And that's why there's such a more tangible feeling to them. And I think you pointed out, it's very noticeable on Moff Gideon's ship. Like, it's so reminiscent of that opening shot of the Star Destroyer in episode 4.
Yeah.
Not just in the angle of the shot and the way it's framed and stuff, but just the ship itself, because of the physical model, just looks so much more tangible.
No, totally.
Yeah.
That's exactly where it took me back to. Yeah, as you're saying, tangible. It looks like the thing is really friggin' there, and it's really weird to see the Slave One fly. It's like watching a bumblebee fly, or it's like, this shouldn't really be flying. But honestly, that thing, I think, is my favorite ship. And I think it's kind of been my favorite ship off and on since episode 2. I don't know. It almost looks like a transformer. It shouldn't be flat. It looks like a big robot that's just coming to kick your ass. So Boba walks out of his ship. They go down to meet, and I was like, is this going to be a red herring? It's like, they're teasing us. They're just going to tease us. But no, it was actually a side of steak. And he walks out, and he does the "I'm a simple man" quote.
Settle down.
So
like
good.
my father before me.
No, but also it's just me. And he looked insane. It was great. Then we see Fennek Shan, and it was great seeing her because like Ming-Na Wen is freaking unbelievable. Fully wasn't expecting her to come back.
I kind of suspect something because we had that clip of someone walking up to her at the end of her episode in season 1. That obviously was planned from the very start because it shows you Boba Fett walking up to her in season 1.
Yeah.
So they obviously had in mind, even at that early stage in the first season, to like bring back Boba Fett. So I just love it because it ties everything
I just love
in.
Consistency.
Yeah.
It's nice for a change.
So damn consistent.
Oh no, yeah, and he looks amazing. Fennek Shan, awesome. So he offers him a kind of a deal of, we'll guarantee your safety if you give me my armor. And Fennek Shan seems to be under some sort of life debt because obviously Boba saved her life. Then the Imperials arrive in their wee lander, which, as you were saying, looks like kind of the first iteration of that troop lander we see in episode 7. And then we see our first ever kind of really badass illustration of how violent gaffy sticks are. That looked great. He was just tearing through these guys wearing like their PVC armor. As again, just kind of showing how cheap and how much of a false sense of security the Imperials instill in their troops, being like, you are part of this big machine and you'll be fine. And it's kind of like, oh, this is all a lie. So that was really cool to see him kind of elevating that Tusken Raider culture, you know. But then we see the real reason behind the Imperials being so strong, because individually, any of these guys, Fennek Shan, Din Djarin, or Boba Fett,
or even Grogu.
Or even Grogu, yeah. Apparently, yeah. Because we see that later in the episode.
Yeah.
They could all individually take down 4 or 5 troopers. But the way the Empire works is you're fighting someone firing a mortar at you while a squad comes up and attacks you, and then you've got someone in the E-web, and that's them. They're literally overwhelming by numbers.
As you say, I loved that it showed that with Fennec, because she's trying to snipe a bunch of these troops. And as you say, there's a squad storming up the hill towards her. There's someone on a mortar firing shells at her, and there's someone trying to set up an E-web. You know, it takes one shot for her to take out anyone. But it's like, you can't shoot everyone at once. You have to shoot someone, and whoever you don't shoot is then a threat. And exactly as you said, that shows the exact mindset of the Imperials of just send a dropship down.
Yeah.
No, don't try and hide, just land and run out the front, and like, you'll get shot, but the ones behind you won't.
Yeah.
And then
there is more of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we finally see it. Boba Fett getting back his armor, and he comes in, backpacks in, takes out all them fools, and then we see not only now do you have to watch out for wrist rockets, you gotta watch out for knee rockets.
Watch out for those knee rockets.
That was so cool. And then Moff Gideon releases the Dark Troopers, and we didn't get really that much of a display of power from them. It was just they swooped in, they got it, they looked intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was perfect. I don't think you needed a big display of power. And, you know, we were right. Tell your sister. You were right.
But yeah, the Dark Troopers pop in, they nick Baby Yoda, and they shoot out, and there's an orbital bombardment.
Of one.
Of one. Which was cool to see from the other side, because usually we only see it from space.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was incredibly terrifying. You know, could you imagine?
Yeah, because it's literally, oh, we're going to walk to our ship now, and it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't even see where the shot comes from. And that's the most terrifying thing. It's like, they could literally end our lives right this second.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't even see it coming.
So we see Din rummage through the wreckage and finds 2 things. He finds the spear, which is the Chekhov's gun. I mean, it's coming. There's got to be a fight between him and Moff Gideon with this Darksaber and the Mandalorian spear. And then we see, pulling on the heartstrings, the ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, this wee item. And he's like, he pockets it, and I'm like, like,
well, that's going to be important in the last episode as well.
Probably. But it's the thing of, like, he doesn't really seem to care that much about the ship or anything else that's in it. It seems to be, he's got the spear, he's determined to go and get his kid back, and this is the one thing that his kid loved. Just one of those nice things of, like, showing, not telling. It's beautiful. A beautiful moment.
Like, I don't know if you got this impression, but for me, I was getting, like, John Wick vibes of just, like, he's a man of sheer effing will. And it's just, nothing in this universe will stop me coming after you. And it's terrifying and so exciting.
Yeah, so exciting.
Yeah.
Because we see that in episode 2 when he's like, if you hurt that child, there's nowhere in the galaxy you can hide from me.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what's happening. So yeah, and then Boba essentially explains, look, I've made a deal. I'm going to help you get that kid back. And it's so cool to see. It's cool to see kind of in episode 5 and 6, he's kind of portrayed as the bad guy, but really he's just holding up his end.
Yeah, and that's also, like, that was in Legends as well, of just like Boba Fett, he was known as the guy, once he's hired for a job, he does that job. You can't bribe your way out of it, and that's why he can charge so much, because it's like, you're paying for my loyalty and my guarantee that I will do this job or die trying. Nothing will stop me.
Yeah.
Basically, I've made a deal. I said, if you give me my armor back, I would help you protect this child. I have my armor back. I will protect this child. I will do whatever I need to fulfill my end of this bargain.
Yeah, no, so cool to see. And he offers to help find the kid, and then he shows him the hard code of the owners of the armor, essentially, and he's like, there's my dad, and there's me. And my dad got this from your forebears. And Din describes Django as a foundling. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is kind of like re-establishing, to a point, Django's EU introduction.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
Which is amazing. Such a story. If anyone's ever played through Django Fett Bounty Hunter, so good. But also the comic adaptation of like why he dislikes Jedi, how he kind of got to that point of being the template for the clones. So good. And his father figure, that Jester Muriel, and the whole point behind having a kid, having Boba Fett as a legacy, is just... It's lovely to see that there's hints and shades of that still about, you know, as we know, there's always truth in legends.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like, you never know, that's something we might cover in a future video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we travel back to Navarro to see Cara Dune, and we see...
The person who's not a joiner.
She's not a joiner,
Yeah.
but she's joined the New Republic in the last 5 minutes. Yeah, so she's joined that. She's enjoying more causes than the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to see. That's such a cool group now that we've got together. We've got Fennek Shan, Cara Dune, Boba Fett, and Din, all in the Slave One.
Yeah. And I think that this is only going to be the start. I think this is what's going to push Mando to go join up with Bo-Katan and her Mandalorians, even though Mando doesn't like her brand of Mandalorian. I think this is going to push him to overcome that and work with them, and that will break down those barriers. And I also think that in the final confrontation, whatever Jedi has heard Grogu's call is going to show up at a key moment and do something.
Yeah.
In this big showdown, I think things are going to go wrong at some point, and that's when this Jedi, whoever it is going to show up.
Well, that's all we've got time for this video, but don't forget to watch our other stuff. They're floating about as we speak, and give us a wee like, share, and subscribe if you fancy it, if you've enjoyed what we've done.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.